Traders War Room proudly presents the daily video with the best trading and investing alerts anywhere on any platform. With up-to-date stock, chart, and market news, TWR is simply your one-stop shop. Wednesday SITREP. Activate your 2-day trial of TWR All Access on the Discord platform. Stay tuned at the end for TWR Hot Products and Services. Comments from the front line. All right, so David, he says, "Sup, GOAT. Is there an auto trade available? I'm very busy during the week and would be happy to split profits with the king." I'm glad you asked this because a lot of people are getting spammed out on this auto trading trend and craze that's happening right now. And so we're working with some algorithm-based artificial intelligence to build some auto trading platforms, but I'm going to be 100% with you. Even the big boys, and I'm talking about the professional ones that you see from the big time institutions, their systems are not that good during chop. In fact, right now, a lot of the auto trading that's going on is at best 50-50, okay? And so for that reason, until we're able to figure out with our artificial intelligence and the machine learning aspect that we're utilizing, and we can get 70% or better consistently, even during choppy markets, we're not going to push it out to the consumer because we're not trying to take people's money just because it's a cool thing. Now, the technology exists and it's there. It's just fine-tuning it and figuring out how to make it work consistently. And once we got that, you already know, brother, I'm going to push that out to the world, and hopefully a lot of people come riding the train with TWR. Alert update. All right, not a bad day in the market today. We had the overnight swings that we did on Microsoft and Google. We ended up taking huge profit on Microsoft, went from 170 to 7, and we lost a little bit of money on Google. It popped in after hours, but then started retracting based off of the guidance that they gave. So we took a little bit of a loss in Google, but by far the Microsoft trade made up for any type of losses we took today in the overall account. Had a couple minimal losses. During the early part of the market, the price action was really hard to gauge. You had some significant upstrokes with significant downstrokes, and it just really attacked the premium. So we took a little bit of a loss on an Amazon put play that we ended up taking, went from 190 to 165. The price action just wasn't there, and I'd rather cut than try to salvage something that wasn't trending in the direction we wanted to go. And then we tried to hop back into Google, but Google was spiking and it was doing its thing. It was popping up and then dropping down and just really was kind of rangy today. So we went ahead and cut that, went from 85 to 50, and just said, you know what, we'll go check these out tomorrow and see what we have with some other tech earnings that were on board tonight that we saw results from. You know, specifically Meta was the big catalyst for hopefully the tech sector moving forward. Nice quick trade on the SPX. Went ahead and took some puts on that one, and we ended up making some money on the contracts. Just little quick plays trying to make back some of those losses that we had on some other trades. Here was a good trade by TLM. He ended up going in to Home Depot, went with the put side of the house at 147, and it spiked up to 250. So great opportunity to go ahead and secure some profits. And we went ahead and closed position at 210. So that overall is a very decent gain right there, specifically in an odd price action, choppy market. Here was a swing trade on Dollar Tree that absolutely did wonders if you had the patience for a slower moving trade. Taking a look here, ended up at that 155 call, 5 May. And when you look at the trade, how it panned out today, it ended up pushing 24% at the very peak of the day. Gotta highlight our algorithm, man. We have the best algorithm bots that push out signals. Look at the SPX and NDX algo that we have. It absolutely was crushing it both ways, going long and short. But specifically on these ones, we have long plays both on the NDX and the SPX, where suggested contracts on the QQQ and the SPY, and ended up making 5% profit and 7% profit, respectively, on those particular trades. And the thing I love about these algos is that they don't have any of the emotion or any of the retail sentiment that's along with it. They just go strictly off of the trend and the calculations and push out great alerts for great setups. And here was another one that was pushed out again, long positions on the NDX and the SPX, and this time these pushed for 12% and 9%. So absolutely our SPX and NDX algo was destroying the competition today. $100 to $1,000 per day is possible as a trader's war room market warrior. So quit wasting that money that's not making money and join TWR today. All links are in the description. Hot off the press. All right, so top news is, of course, what is the Fed going to do come May, right? Are they going to hit us with, 0.25 increase? Are they going to push it to 0.5 increase because it seems like the economy is still thriving? Are they going to signal a pause? There's a whole bunch up in the air, and of course, they're in a blackout period right now where no one's talking, so it's only speculation. But what they got to talk about is the consensus still thinks that it's going to be a 0.25 hike. Anything higher, of course, will put the market in disarray. And also, they're looking for 0.25 with signals of a potential pause in the near future. So any type of those hot comments that give indications that a pause is on the books or a pause might be in the works or they're at least, considering a pause, so on and so forth, will be hot items and the market will probably jump. However, if the tone is kind of, you know, well, we got a lot more work to do. The economy is thriving still. There's still things happening, this and that. We probably are expecting for a little bit of downward pressure based off the Fed comments. So that's on everybody's mind right now is what is the Fed going to do and how it's going to react specifically with the S&P. I thought this was interesting because people took to social media, specifically on Reddit, and they were talking about how they lost huge money on Bed Bath and Beyond from basically insiders selling their positions before the company filed for bankruptcy. So a lot of people were in this meme stock revolution, which, to be honest with you, I don't know why people were trading this for anything of a long-term trade. This should have been just short trades where you ride momentum and you take profit often, or you short it based off of momentum and you ride it down. But there's a lot of people that lost a whole bunch of money being diamond handing and going ahead and going long on this. And of course, the company filed for bankruptcy, and you can see it all over the place. Bed Bath and Beyond, they're selling everything in the stores, complete liquidation. I went in a Bed Bath and Beyond the other day just to check it out, and they're even selling the racks. Like everything in the store is up for auction or for cash settlement. So it's definitely looking pretty rough for some of the investors that put their money into this one and did the diamond hand type of thing that who is always about trying to get some short squeeze stuff going on. Once again, these guys steering you wrong. On contrary, those that are rock with TWR, we don't get them all, but we ain't losing either, man. We definitely making more than we lose. Noteworthy news, Meta absolutely destroyed earnings. And those that rock that Meta lotto with me, we eating tomorrow morning. And Amazon, they're talking about they're ripping off the Band-Aid, but can it assist their systemic failures as a company because they're still unprofitable and trading at a premium 74 forward earnings. So is that going to be enough when they report earnings? We'll find out here tomorrow. And finally, some information about the debt ceiling bill still isn't put into law, but the House passes it so that it can at least give negotiations with the POTUS. And Microsoft absolutely been on a tear. I want you guys to pay attention to Microsoft because it still might have a little more juice, but We'll be looking for buyer's exhaustion at the top and profit taking because it'll come sooner than later, and we'll probably get a nice dump where we can make some money on the downside and get a nice cushioning from support to also get a new buying opportunity. Hot trends. All right, so here's your overall market sentiment is bearish. Your leading index is the triple Q. Your market momentum is bearish, and your hottest sector today was technology. SPY caught everyone off guard. They were buying up on that big dip that you saw early in the market, riding that up. They thought it was going to peak, kind of hit the top, pushed a little bit, and then came tumbling all the way back down, closing down for a lower gain on the day. The Q by far was the best sector today, but man, even big tech earnings couldn't hold up on the Q from people profit taking. So definitely, when you see things like this, the Q moving based off of, Microsoft and Google earnings and stuff like that, and they can't hold those gains because of market sentiment, that's telling you that there's a lot of investor frustration and a lot of investor indecisiveness out there because the market should have held those levels, but instead retracted right back down to make lower lows on the day. And then the IWM, same thing, guys. Basically the same track as the SPY and the Q happened with the IWM. As you can see, the big sectors that were making the biggest moves, you can see that Apple had a little bit up on the day. Microsoft, by far the biggest gainer that was moving the sector as a whole. And you had Amazon, NVDA, but some of the other ones that have the most of the market real estate, they weren't doing so hot. Biggest gainers, you saw CMG just absolutely explode off their earnings. The idea of them having pricing power and be able to use it. Chipotle is definitely killing it. You saw Datadog do fairly well today. Snow had a good day. I'd be watching Snow, though, for a little bit of a pullback. Microsoft, you saw that it was popping. I could see a little bit more momentum, specifically based off of the AI and the cloud and the earnings, but I'd be looking for the pullback on Microsoft as well. People are going to eventually be taking profits off of this, and they're going to, lower their position because they've had such a good run here recently. Biggest losers in phase, absolutely. The solar industry is getting crushed here lately. If you're looking for a sector to, short right now because it's having some huge issues, I'd be looking at ticker TAN, which is the solar power ETF. Look at that, see what stocks are allocated in that, and find the ones that are struggling because it is definitely taking a beating right now. We also have ATVI that wasn't doing so well. In fact, we got puts on that one actively as a swing trade because of the deal with Microsoft not going through. So we're looking at a few of these that are struggling and probably got some more downward pressure. NE is another one. I think we see a little bit more pressure to the downside on NE. And Tesla, it just, where's the end when it comes to the bottom? Where's the bottom for Tesla? No one knows. People are still saying, 125 definitely in the pocketbooks for this one, and it could easily spike up, but definitely some more downward trending pressure because of price cuttings, and people just don't think they have the demand is present right now. Here's your sector rotation. Again, you're seeing a lot of things starting to slope to the downside, so paying attention to that. Okay, notice the curvature. Okay, the curvature on all of these sector rotations are starting to slope to the downside, so that could be an indication of things to come. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about getting into new positions. Sector performance, technology was the only thing that really kept things afloat. Everything else struggled, specifically utilities and industrials. I thought this was interesting. I figured I'd put it in here. This is a little backdated, but what they do is they take polls and then they post a result. And basically the poll from April 25th, whether you think SPY, the Q, or the IWM is bullish or bearish, basically you got 59% of the people thinking SPY is bearish. You got 82% of people thinking the Q is bullish, mainly because the technology big caps, and 54% thinking IWM is bullish. So this be interesting to see how this plays out. Maybe it can sway some sentiment or something like that. And something I wanted to bring to your attention, look at these huge, large insider transactions, okay? Pay attention to PTC because I just looked at the chart before I posted this here, and it really doesn't look like all of the selling pressure has been put into the stock. So is this something that could potentially happen here in the near future? We start to see the sell-off. PTC is about $125, and they definitely got room that they could go to the downside. So insider transactions usually are prior to something happens. Just example of the Bed Bath and Beyond, right? So I don't think they're looking at bankruptcy, but are we looking at a little bit of downward slope? And so, might be an opportunity to maybe look for a short position. And another one that I thought was interesting, Walmart. Okay, lots of insider transactions to the sell side on Walmart. And Walmart has absolutely just been crushing here recently. So it kind of makes sense. They just recently had a breakout. They're kind of cooling down from the breakout and potentially could go back to retest that support level or that previous support level before the breakout. So I'd be looking to potentially get in a short trade on this as well. Now, obviously, you got to give yourself time because Walmart's going to probably consolidate for a little bit, but push out a month or 2 months on your short position, and you might be able to make some money on some downward pressure from Walmart. Stocks I like. Here's how the alerts will go. Purple line, that's the bow zone. That's where the fight is going to happen at. And then the blue line on a break from the battle zone, that's where we're looking for follow through to the bull side. And the red line is going to be follow through to the red side. All right, let's talk about Walmart like we talked about earlier, that heavy insider transactions that are going on. We've seen some downward pressure from its previous peak, and it's kind of thinning out as far as main body candlestick, but it's wicking, which gives us some broadening. Essentially, what I'm looking for is a break to one side or the other. So we're looking for that break above, the 150, 150 area for the push to the upside, or that break below the 150-50 area for the push to the downside. So, utilizing the triggers with the follow through either on the upside at the blue or the downside at the red could get you a great potential trade. PTC, again, those insider transactions selling got me thinking bearish on this one. Now, this seems to move a little slower on lower volume, but the volume has been picking up here recently, and this got me thinking that potentially we could get that insider transaction pushing from a peak point and going down to the downside. So I'll be looking to short this one if I can find a good opening opportunity. Meta is interesting because they absolutely crushed some earnings and they pushed pretty hard. So I could see this continuing to the 240, maybe 245 range before we start hitting that resistance and then we start to retract a little bit. I would be looking for this more of, I don't want to get into this right now because it's FOMO, but I'd be looking for the reverse play from that 240, maybe 245 area and riding some of the momentum down because people are going to profit take because they've been in this for a while. They've been in it since it was like $100, and this is the prime place to go ahead and trim while you're on top, wait for the pullback, and then go deep back into the position for once they stabilize from a cool down. ATVI, I think while this is a good company and I think fundamentally they're strong, I think that they're going to have some continued downtrending pressure based off of the fallen deal on Microsoft. So I'll be looking for the short side of house on this. In fact, I got puts already, but I'd be looking for the dump to the downside. And if you're looking for shares long, once we bottom out at a little bit lower level, I think would be a great position to go ahead and get shares long and hold this for about 3 to 5 years. Amazon, I was expecting this to cool off a little bit, but it was running strong on some of the other earnings sentiment. But I do think that they struggle in their earnings play. This will most likely push going into earnings, and then we could have either a binary movement to the upside or to the downside. I'd be leaning more going with puts on probability of their earnings underwhelm, as this has an extreme forward PE compared to their other peers in the tech industry, and I just don't think the numbers are going to be overwhelming enough to keep this elevated. Roku, Huge outside bar, man. This thing was rangy all day. Look at that. I mean, that goes like $62 all the way to $53. Battle zone, we're looking for triggers above that 59.50 or the 56.25. I think if we get the push, I think Roku goes ahead and takes another leg to the downside. I don't think the earnings were spectacular enough to get the big money from from the the institution money. And I think that we suffer a little bit and we come down for a leg down, find some support, and then we can start looking at the rise back up to previous highs. Service now is interesting, and again, another huge outside bar, so it's ranging. I do like this one for pushing to the downside. We got our battle zone, the 449.50, the 442 area. I think we trigger to the downside, and we could be looking for some continuation down to 437, 435. Snap. If things trend the way that Meta was trending as far as these social media giants, I think Snap does fairly well down at this price. I think this gets a lot of investor sentiment, especially if they show that things are improving, and we could see the push to the upside. We have leaps on this, $15 pushed all the way out to 20, 25. I also like this one for share accumulation down at these levels, and I do think we'll get a push to the upside. So I'll be looking for a long position on this trade. Upcoming events. Traders War Room is your one-stop shop. Try our TWR one-to-one mentoring. Does the market have you feeling like this, or wanting to rip your hair out while you watch your account dwindle? If that's you, then Traders War Room has you covered. Our one-to-ones focus on you as a trader or investor. The Zoom session connects you with a TWR professional. Whether we're covering charts, developing a plan of attack, or being strategic and deep diving on the how, why, and execution of trade plans. TWR one-to-ones will give you the confidence to attack, conquer, destroy, and make the market bend the knee in 2023. Join TWR and bow to no one. Book your session today. The link is in the description or on the website at traderswarroom.com. Let's go to war. Our next class is set, and I want you to join us on 3 May at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are going to teach you how to navigate and trade futures. Our guest instructor, Expo Jesse, is very popular and on tons of servers and is a fantastic futures trader, and he's going to come in and break down the who, what, where, when, why, and how to trade the future indexes. Guys, this is going to be a fantastic trade, and if you don't know anything about futures, I highly suggest you take this class. And if you know and love to trade futures, I highly suggest you take this class because he's a wealth of knowledge, he's extremely accurate, and he can assist you guys to make tons of money. So definitely check us out. You can go to the website at traderswarroom.com/upcoming classes and register for the class today. $25 gets you a seat, and all purchases receive the recording. Tired of all the dings and pings on your current trading platform and feeling overwhelmed? No need to have that, guys. Check out TWR Instant Message Alerts. Less noise, just alerts. Guys, if you are tired of all the dings and pings interrupting your trading session, or you're just feeling overwhelmed because there's just too much information, okay, we got a simpler fix for you. Check it out. We send out alerts. 2 channels. You got a chat channel and you got an alerts channel, and all you're going to get is high quality trade signals and alerts. And definitely, if you are interested in this because you're currently feeling overwhelmed or you've had a bit of downward progression in your trading style, come over and check us out, try it out, and see if this works for you, getting you back on track, okay? The link is in the description, or you can always DM me or hit me up in an email if you want more information. But definitely, TWR Instant Message Alerts are less noise, just alerts, just for you. Activate your 2-day trial of TWR All Access on the Discord platform. We cover it all at Traders War Room, whether you're looking for stocks, options, futures, Forex, crypto, or even sports betting, or you want real-time alerts, live trading, algo signals, or even if you just want to be part of a community of like-minded investors to grow, learn, and share together as a team. Something for everyone at Traders War Room. Activate your 2-day trial today and go to war with TWR. The market is our war zone and stocks are the battle. Join TWR and let's go to war. Make the market bend the knee in 2023. Join Traders War Room and bow to no one. Let's go to war.